Well, hello, everybody out there in podcast land. Thank you so much for joining me, your host, Rudrani Devi, for another episode of the Get Happy podcast. And the crowd goes wild. Today, I have somewhat new certified facilitator of access consciousness with me. We've just met recently within the last year. Just became a certified facilitator in June of 2021. So I have fresh meat on the show. And without further ado,
Love that.
let me present Dr. Imene Benzamouche. Did I get it right?
Got it. You got it. You're amazing.
So thank you so much for being with us today, brave soul. And why don't you tell our podcast listeners now and in the future who you are, all the things you do, all the things about you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Rudrani. I'm really loving this energy, vibes, whatever you want to call it. Just being together and creating this something for all of your listeners. And you said my name perfectly, so there we go. And so a lot of things, and yet I would highlight being a certified facilitator for access consciousness is one of my most favorite things. One of the other favorite things I have is translation. So I translate into Arabic, which is my mother tongue. And I also translate into French because that's my second language. And I really love working with bodies. So whether it is like using the access techniques or any other techniques that are fun for me in that moment, I really like that. So basically, I studied to be a doctor. That's where Dr. Imene Benzamouche comes.
So she's really smart, y'all. Just so you know, we got one tough, smart cookie on the show today. Just saying. Okay, go on.
Fresh meat, smart cookie.
That's right. What a combination. Maybe I should write a song about that. I don't know. Anyway, please continue. I digress.
I wonder what would that sound like? I already have the visual. Come on.
Fresh meat, doctor. Oh yeah. Not only beautiful, but smart. Doctor Fresh Meat. Loves to play with bodies. Yeah. I'll work on it. I'll get back to you. Yeah. That's a whole nother show.
Exactly. So I'm basically like a medical doctor. So for a long, long time, I have always loved bodies and change with bodies. And access really gave me the tools to work through that even faster. So that's one of the things that I really like to play with in my everyday life. Bodies, let's change things.
I can relate to that because before access, I did a process called tapping. And I would have a client come with an issue or maybe some PTSD, and it would take us several sessions before we could clear what was going on. And what I loved about access, these pragmatic tools is, I was introduced to access bars, which is like the very first modality that Access even came up with, or Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, the reason why we're talking, it's his fault. And what I noticed is after one session, you can have tremendous change and it continues. Even if you only have that one session, it continues to unravel and unwind all these thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are stuck in your body, or PTSD, or whatever it is you're working on. Is that what you noticed?
Absolutely. And for me, really, it was I didn't even use anything before Access. Like I was a very square doctor, like smart but not that smart. I got smarter after Access.
I love it. I don't believe you though. You were just uncovering the smartness you truly be after you found Access. Because we're trained
That
to
is true.
sometimes pretend like we're not as smart as we really are, you know?
Yep. Yeah, totally. Like I was really the kind of doctors where you say like you tell me energy and energy healing and whatever. I was like, that's for you, not for me. Thanks. Bye. So it was really for me. And I actually like I totally understand my perspective then, because all of the modalities that were suggested to me before Access, I could really perceive that energy of you have to dig and dig and dig and dig. And God only knows when and if you'll ever get to the root of it. So when Access was introduced to me, I was like, what the heck? Like, I'm just trying things. So I tried a couple of sessions and I got them for free. So I didn't really value the thing. I was like, it's just like taking the stress out of my brain. And so, okay, my sister was doing them. I'm like, I'm grateful for you, but then, okay, go do your thing. I'm not gonna go into it, you know? And then
Oh, your
one
sister
time,
introduced you? Wait a minute. Your sister actually
yeah,
introduced you to Access.
yep.
That's crazy. I wish I could,
Yep.
well, we all, it's their choice whether they want to do it or not. My mom loves for me to run her bars, and I actually tricked her into taking a bars class with me. I told her I needed another set of hands. Twice I did it to her. And it was namely because I wanted her to get the idea of what it was, the value of it. Interestingly enough, that you should say that, and to get her bars run twice. Because when you take a bars access class, y'all, you get to trade with somebody and then you trade again. So you get your bars run twice and you're running someone's bars. And the cool thing about running bars is that it actually, if you're gifting a session, you're also receiving a session. So it's really like getting 4 sessions when you take a class. It's a real bargain. And just for those of you that might be listening for the first time, access bars are these 32 points on the head that when you touch them in different groupings, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see me doing this, but the bar is actually between the fingers. That's why we call it bars. But it's like a delete button. It diminishes thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are stuck in your body that are perhaps not even yours to begin with, or you've aligned and agreed with something or resisted and reacted to something. And what if it wasn't even relevant and we could just delete it? And so quickly, you don't have to go see a therapist for 20 sessions to do it. That's what I know. So your sister introduced you.
Yeah, like she's brilliant, and she introduced me, and she actually started, like, she gave me a few sessions, and then she introduced me to the tools, which was pretty amazing for me, because at the beginning I was like, okay, I'm all depressed. I had just finished my 7 years of med school. I'm like, I don't want to continue. I don't want to continue in this, like, the field. And I was like, what the fuck I just did. I'm not sure if we can say that word in
You
our
can
podcast.
say all the words.
Okay, all the words. Okay, let's go.
All the words in the universe are allowed in any language that you would like.
For today,
And, to be able to speak 3 languages, you are brilliant, whether you have doctor in front of your name or not. By the way, y'all, this is called the Get Happy Podcast. So if you're not laughing by now, maybe you want to jump off, I don't know, a cliff. I digress. So I had this little yellow book called Choosing Happiness. It speaks Portuguese and Spanish and English. And because of the lovely, brilliant doctor, it will also very soon be speaking Arabic, and Russian will be available in January. So how does it get any better than that? Anyway, wow. So she introduces you to these tools. Well, I'm curious, what was the first tool that she actually gave you? Do you remember? Or one of them?
She gave the clearing statement. She gave me the clearing statement, and then somehow in her universe, she knew that I wouldn't value things if I'm not paying. So she said, "You're gonna have to pay for it." later
She's
to get
smart
something that
too.
was already free online. Like
Oh, that's true.
if you don't know, if you don't know, there is a website called theclearingstatement.com. So you can go there. You don't have to pay to
That's
get it.
true. And Dr. Dane here, who is the co-founder of Access, explains it brilliantly. That is so funny. She actually tricked you into paying her. But it
That's so
worked.
awesome.
She knew.
Like, I was like, yeah, she knew. I loved that. Like later on, I was like, we paid for something that was free. And then I was like, well, I took some free stuff and I didn't value them. So
Yeah, true story.
anyway, yeah, so she gave me that and she said, you know, you can use it on anything. Just play with it. I'm like, okay. So I started and then I started watching Dr. Dane's videos and every fucking morning when I wake up, I'm like, this robotic life. And I was like, I'm done with this. Oh my God. So what I did was that I took my YouTube feed and then I just looked for any video of Dr. Dane.
Mhm.
And I listen and then listen and listen again and again, like each video after another, until my mood switches to happy me.
I remember texting him once because I was having a really cranky pants couple of days. I didn't even think to ask questions about it. I had moved out of my house to gut it and add on so I could move my mom in. And because I wanted a new house, because it's completely different now. And so I moved into an apartment and I had 4 millennials sharing a 2-bedroom apartment above me. And then a woman below me with a dog and a boyfriend that she'd always fight with. And I didn't think to ask, hey, is this cranky pants actually mine? So I remember texting him once and going, I've just been binge listening to you for like 48 hours, you know, and I'm still feeling heavy. And it goes like, is it yours? Which is one of my favorite tools, y'all. It's like your true nature is probably happiness. Probably. You've just, it's been so long that you've decided that crankiness is your natural state that you don't even think to ask, is this mine? But that's one of my favorite tools in Access Consciousness. For every thought, feeling, and emotion, if you guys could do this for 3 days and ask, hey, truth, is this even mine? And if you lighten up right away, you've already kind of returned it to where it came from, you know, because what's light is true for you, and what's heavy is not true for you. So if you say, is this mine? And you get this heaviness, you go, oh, it's not even mine. Return it to sender. But you do this for 3 days and it just kind of automatically happens. Because I know for the holidays, it's right after Christmas, y'all, in the United States. And I had a lot of family coming in shifts. And I mean, you know, 12 and 14 people around the dinner table for lunch and for dinner and all the things. And I'd start to feel kind of contracted. I'd go, is this mine? And then I'd like that. And then I'd start to feel contracted and I said, this is mine. And that's all I had to say. And it would go away. So, one of my favorite tools.
Works, you guys.
So don't try it, y'all. Just a choice.
Don't
do it.
Okay.
So here she makes you pay for this clearing statement. You binge watch Dane, and then what happens?
And then I just like continue, and then I'm like, I wonder what is it about this that is lighting up my universe that I can get more of, you know? And I'm the kind of person, when you give me information, I'm like, I suck it. Like
we could say something about that. She sucks it, meaning she takes on the information, you dirty-minded people.
Yeah.
I think a comedian must have just stepped into my body because I'm even making me laugh. Kind of. Anyway, she absorbs it. You know, she wants to know more. She studies 7 years studying to be a doctor. And then throwing all that away.
It's boring. I suck information. It's more fun, you know?
Big sucker of magnitude, you. Anyway.
I am actually so that. So And at some point, like I finished my seventh year, and then I'm like, I don't wanna continue, like all the options, you know. It was a very like a period where they give you two or three choices and they say, this is your life, you have to choose one of these three. And I really get a lot of people get into this. So for me, it was like, I didn't know the tools then I knew that there was something else. I knew that no, people are talking about ABC, but I know there's a loads of things I can choose.
Right.
So I was willing, I actually was willing to lose it all, like my med school, my degree, whatever. I was willing for me to get happy. I was
Mhm.
willing to lose it.
I love it. I love it. And I love this conversation because get this, sometimes we hold on to things so tightly because we've invested so much time, like, 7 years of school, a relationship that is not working for either person, that because they've invested so much time and energy, they're like, but I can't give it up. I mean, we're wearing rings. We vowed, in front of all these people, what are they going to think, because we think that's the only choice or lot in life that we have. That's what we'll say here in the States. That's my lot in life. I married him. I gave him children and we hate each other, but we stayed together for the kids. And it's like, huh?
Then the kids
You think that's
move
your
out,
only, you think that's your
and then
only
the kids
choice?
are the ones who leave.
I don't know if I was only given three choices, I think I'd have to kill myself. That's like,
Well, actually, the choices.
what other
I was
choices?
like, yeah, I just killed those, and then I was like, okay, show me
But
something
that
else.
willingness
And
to walk away from all of it, that's the piece I want you to talk about. Because you guys, if you're willing to walk away from all of it, then you've opened a door to receive everything. Doesn't mean you have to, but you give yourself that choice to choose something
exactly.
different. Yeah.
And I was actually tricking my brain. I was tricking everybody around me who was asking, like, aren't you gonna specialize? Aren't you gonna open an office? Aren't you not gonna do something? Like do something? And I'm like, no. But deep down, I knew that all of those things that they were asking about were not me.
Mm.
And they didn't make me happy. So I was asking, but then I didn't feel the need to share with people what I knew was possible.
Mm.
I kept it for myself and I kept looking for it in a way, not like searching like a lunatic, but then being open and being outside, like, just you send your being out there and you're like, get me the good stuff,
Mhm.
get me the good stuff. Like, I know it's there. I've seen people happy, so show me that.
Right.
And I like, I think a few weeks later, after I finished med school, I traveled. I thought that what I required was to be in another country,
Mm.
to be in another culture, to um, have a different outside,
Mhm.
but I was still not happy.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I love that. Not a lot of questions. You were just decided. When you decide something is going to make you happy, it's interesting how many times that just the opposite happens. You know what I'm saying? It's like I remember Simone Milasas, who's another certified facilitator in Access, was talking about how she was thinking maybe I need to live in a different place. And she was, sampling. And it never occurred to her, I could have more than one house. And here, she was talking to the founder of Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas, who I mentioned earlier. And he goes, well, there's a lot of conclusion in that, that you have to give up one thing to have another thing. And she was like, oh yeah, I need to ask more questions. Would I be happier with more than one house? So now she has a house that will be finished. I think it's going to be finished in 2022 in Costa Rica. She part owns the castle, and she has her house in Brisbane Beach in Australia. And she owns two beautiful antique shops. And it was because she was willing to step out of that box of, well, I'm only allowed to have this because that's what everybody says I can have, you know? So I love that you mentioned that. And, you know, and I want to speak more about it, but we need to take a commercial break. So let's just pause for a moment and we'll be right back after these messages.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Feeling a little funky? Devi Essentials Pure Oil Blends can maximize your inner balance. These 100% pure oil blends are designed to vibrationally open up the channels within the physical and multi-dimensional bodies. Your body. So if you're trying to find your groove, let these pure essential oil blends work for you. For more information, go to rudranidevi.com. That's RUDRANIDEVI.com. And we're back. Yes, we were talking to the lovely doctor about her choices after 7 years of studying to leave it behind. Everybody's asking, hey, you know, what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to specialize? And you had mentioned that you thought that your location needed to change, but that didn't change anything for you to find you're happy. So what did you end up doing?
I came back and like I stayed home. I wasn't working, I wasn't studying, I wasn't doing anything. And one day I was out with my same sister who introduced me to the tools. And we were in traffic. This is a really funny story. Like, I love it. Maybe not so funny for some people, but anyway, it's funny for me.
You were stuck in traffic, or you were moving in traffic, or you were just in traffic? Not that it matters.
What the fuck is the difference? I don't know.
Right. You're in a car going somewhere with other cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a lot of traffic, and it usually takes us around 2 hours to get to that place. We were going to her workplace. So in the middle of the road, like me, Iman, just thinking, okay, I'm just doing my nails, doing my makeup, because
In the car.
anyway,
as one does.
we're like, yeah, as one does. We have 2 hours. And she started singing, and she was singing 2 questions from Access Consciousness. How does it get any better than this? And what else is possible?
Oh.
And I was just looking at her. I'm like, you know what? Like, it's your sister, you know, you gotta just accept who she is and
Roll with it.
she is. You know, I'm just looking at her and I'm like, wow. And then the car started moving faster. So like, instead of doing my nails, I'm like, it's moving.
Huh, what just happened?
And then I'm like, it's luck, you know, because I was very animalistic, like really, and 1 + 1. These roads, they take this amount of time to get there, and this moment, like it was really jammed. So anyway, the road started moving, and then at some point she gets the thing to move lines, and then she moves the line, and then the line she moves into moves quickly, and then we got to the place where we were headed so quickly. I looked at her and I was like, hey, this, I want more.
What did you just do?
Yeah, this thing of yours, I want more. And she said, she was a bars facilitator then, and she said, okay, you can come to the class. And
Did she make you pay for it?
Well, actually, no, she didn't.
I just wanted to know.
This one she didn't.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
That's okay. Sometimes it's okay to gift, you know, it's called generosity of spirit, and they are related. And
Exactly.
She teaches her
Exactly.
bars, and that means you two can trade bars. So she's kind of smart, actually, that way.
Yeah. And she really kind of quote unquote tried to get me to go to one, like for weeks. She used to do one every Saturday, and she's like, "Do you want to come for this one?" I'm like, "No, I want to sleep." And I continued in my misery. So until one day I was like, okay, so what is it? What is it that you're gonna choose, Iman? And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna wake up and then I'm gonna go. And I went, and it was I think November 11th, 2018.
I love how you
And
mentioned
yeah, that class changed my whole reality.
Yeah. I've never heard that
Now
before.
look, yeah. Now look, I've had bars ran on me. I didn't feel it. I used the tools. I didn't feel it. I wasn't like in it. But when I had the class and I trade, like you said, you give 2 sessions and then you receive 2 sessions, and then she's talking all the time, blah 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 blah, and I'm speaking.
Sure. I know I talk so much when I'm teaching a bars class, but there's a lot in that book that you have to facilitate, and you're getting
Yeah.
cleared through the whole class. And even those 2 tools that she was singing about, let me just explain for those of you that maybe don't know much about Access, or this is the first piece you've heard about it. How does it get any better than this? It's a question you just throw out to the universe. And I love it because I'll throw it out and people usually answer, well, it could be blah, 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 or this could be that. And I'm like, no, don't answer. Let the universe answer for you. So you're having a crappy day. You're stuck in traffic. How does it get any better than this? Because you want it to be better than being stuck in traffic. Or, you win the lottery. How does it get any better than this? Because maybe you'd like to win another lottery or have somebody gift you a resort home in Costa Rica, or, things like this. And then what else is possible? I've used that one a lot because I've noticed that when you throw it back into their court with what else is possible, it's like you've just made a demandment out of them and they try to find something else to make it work. I've gotten upgraded with flights that way, all sorts of things. It's like, oh, your flights.
Hey, people, you can
Yeah.
get things from these tools.
It's interesting though. I mean, have you noticed that when you say, and you don't even have to be saying it to a person, it could be a situation just like singing in the car. What else is possible? And then all of a sudden the traffic lightens up. I'm kind of like a Jedi Knight when I'm driving. I'll tell people, you need to turn your signal on and go to the right so that I can keep going. And I'll say this out loud. My mother's sitting in the car with me. She goes, what are you doing? Because they respond. It's like I'm whispering in their ear,
Wow.
And it's fun. Yeah. I'm
Love that.
very righteous about my driving and my Jedi capabilities, but that's okay. I know my talents and abilities. But those two little phrases, or those 2 little tools alone, and then with a clearing statement. So this is how you can use them, y'all. How does it get any better than this? What else is possible? Anything that does not allow me to perceive, know, be, and receive that, I destroy and uncreate it all. Because you want to be able to receive it all. Lose it all so you can receive it all. And then do the clearing statement, which we've already told you, www.theclearingstatement.com. And then you don't have to feel anything or not. In fact, the more you don't believe in it, probably the better. Then you don't make it significant, right? And just allow the universe to show you. Why not? So anyway, continuez s'il vous plaît, because I know you speak French, so.
Oui.
The doctor.
So I don't know, where was I?
The car, the clearing statements, taking the bars class.
The boss class. I just perceived my whole universe doing, and it's not like that for everybody. So this is my experience. You can have your own when you take a boss class.
Right.
And it just blew my mind. And I just looked at my sister and I was like, dude, this
Can we
was
pause for just
available?
one moment for a mommy station break because she's knocking on the door. Celeste, you want to come say hello to everybody in podcast land?
You need to adjust. You need to adjust the where are you?
Here, come say hello. You guys have heard me talk about Celeste. She's probably really famous now, but you've never seen her. So come say hello, Celeste.
You need to adjust.
It's over here. We're getting the HVAC worked on. Come down where they can see you.
Hi.
This is Dr. Imene.
Hi, glad to know you.
This is my mother,
Hey.
Celeste. And I don't even know this guy's name. What's your
Wow.
name?
I'm Raiden.
What is that?
It's Raiden. It's just like Braden without the B.
Oh, what a cool name. This is Raiden back here.
Raiden.
Can you see him? So just wave. Yeah, for those of you watching on YouTube. So he's working on our HVAC, all the
Okay.
things.
Oh,
Well,
thank
it's a pleasure to know you. Please take care. Bye.
you so much.
You know, I include everything in these podcasts.
I love it.
You need to take care of those. You only have that one?
I have that one, and then there's where the filters go. That's
Where?
it.
Where?
That's it. Right behind the lamp there. That big
Oh,
square
you-
thing.
But you don't have another,
That's it in this room.
that's the only one?
Yeah, there's none in the ceiling.
Wow,
I know. There's just one.
that's why you were cold.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, it's a
this
little room.
And this one was wide open, so we'll close this one a little bit as well.
Okay. All the things. How does it get any better than that? And what else is possible now, y'all?
Yeah, sure.
So, all right then.
I think you've had so many people in one podcast.
Well, I have had three ways before.
Ah,
Two guests at the same time, you know, they're partners or they've created something. So, but my
Ah,
mother, this is
I
her
love it.
debut. And then there's Raiden over here. All the things. Okay, so for those of you that are listening and you aren't watching on YouTube, Dr. Imene was like, she did her hands like this and went, my whole world expanded. So what
Yeah, it
happened after
did.
that? What made you decide to become a facilitator anyway? Was that moment?
Before that, no, that wasn't that. It was at that moment, I was like, I'm gonna have more of this. And just it happened that two French facilitators were in Algeria at that time. It
Hmm.
wasn't something like common. They had what do you call it, body process classes the next day and the one after it. And like my sister was supposed to go there, but then she had work, blah blah blah. She couldn't go, and I was like, I'm going. And she
I'll be
called
you.
the lady to yeah, she called the host to say like do you have a +1, like an extra spot anyway? And she's like, she's not answering, I'm sorry. And I'm like, what? Care? Go there. Going. What are they gonna do? Kick me out? I'm not gonna not have this. I'm having
Right.
this. And I
I love
didn't
it.
even have the money, you know. I don't even know how I got the money. I didn't even pay for the boss class. Like,
Wow. Yeah, you're not a creator of
Like-
magnitude at all, young lady.
oh yeah. So I got the money to get to this body process, and then that even blew my universe even wider. Like
Wow.
even that class was called Receive It All. Like, hello. I did. And I like when I finished that class, I got myself into
Hey there, everyone in podcast land. I had a little coughing fit. So in case you didn't notice the sudden abruption, or even if you're watching on YouTube, I just needed a little more water. I was a little parched, you know, and some other things. So we are back, and I want to finish this conversation. I swear, no more interruptions. You are telling us that you had to get to this body processes class. Your sister couldn't go; she had to work. And you don't even know how you got the money, which I find that's the most interesting part of the story for me. Because here's the thing, you guys, when you really decide you want something, when you choose it for real and not fake choose, the universe falls all over itself to gift that to you. So please tell us more about that.
It was like I didn't care where to get the money. I just knew I had to be there. I had to be there. And it was like my body was, yes, let's go, let's go. It was pushing me. I can't like show you now because I'm sitting, but anyway, you see it.
We can perceive it.
Yeah. So I got to that class, and at the end of the first class, first body process class, I like, that I already didn't have money for that. I don't know how I got it. And there was another class the next day, which was another body process about the eyes and vision correction or something like that, which I was like, you know what? I don't have the money. But at the end of the class, the facilitator, one of the two facilitators, she looked at me, and she's a great friend right now. She looked at me and she's like, will we see you? Will we see you tomorrow, after tomorrow? And I just looked at her and said, yes. And then I was like, and then my brain kicked in, and I was like, you know what? I don't know how I said yes, and I don't know how I'm going to get, but as you people say, I am choosing it. So it was a new thing for me. So I was like, as you say,
I love it.
you consciousness people say, I am choosing it. And I actually dared to ask my father that, like, I never asked him for money. So I was like,
Wow.
I'm going to get money from this guy. And I asked him for an amount that I had never dared to ask. And he gave it to me.
You know what I perceived just from you telling that little story? That it actually contributed to his world to give you that money. And for you to be able to receive it from him.
Yeah.
The joy that he has, a generosity of spirit, doesn't he? When you can do something to help someone just because you can. And it's not, it wasn't because you were his daughter, although I'm sure it had something to do with it. But it's this energy of, hey, I can do this for this person. And if you could, why wouldn't you? Especially if they could receive it.
Absolutely. And I remember like calling him, and he's like, do you really have to do this? I'm like, yes, Dad, it will improve my sight and I will see the life more beautifully. And I gave him all the things that I was, perceiving that I will get. And
Right.
all the things that would get him to perceive what I was talking about, because it's an energetic class. You can't really explain it to anybody. And then he gifted me the money, and I got to that class, and really a lot of things melted. I got lots and lots of awareness from it. And from that point, I was like, okay, so these modalities, I didn't even know about. I was, I don't know, maybe 25 at that point. And I was like, fucking 25 years and I didn't know about this? What the hell, Imene?
Oh my goddess. Now I want to slap you. It's like 25. I wish that access consciousness was around when I was 25. It didn't even exist, Like, can you just acknowledge Smarty Pants, Dr. UV, that you created, finding it at a very young age compared to most? I mean, other than if you had a child and the child picked you because it wanted to be in the classes with you, whether it knew what was going on or not. Because that's the only thing I sometimes go, oh, how great would it have been if I could have started Access when I was 5, like these kids that run around the classes, that just that their parents are in such allowance of them being who they be,
How smart are they?
Yeah, for reals. For reals. They knew how to choose. They're happy. So, okay. I do want to know a couple of other things. I know we can't keep you on this podcast for 1,000 years, although probably I exaggerate, as as a good humanoid does. You're a CF. It takes a lot to be a CF. There's a lot of classes you have to take, y'all. There's tons of stuff, and it's an investment. It's an investment, you know. When I decided to be a CF, there were classes that I hadn't taken that I had to buy online and take those classes, and you have to answer this millions of questions about access, and you got to know your shit before they allow you to do it. And you know what? You have to re-up every year. So what made you leap into choosing that, my dear?
Well, long story short, after doing the body process and then the bars class, I spent a month, like not a month, I think less, maybe 2 weeks. And then I chose to do talk to the entities class, which was, oh my fucking God,
I know.
a lot, a lot. I was like,
Yeah, you
wow.
guys go online and just Google talk to the entities, and a bunch of free stuff will come up. Also, Shannon O'Hara is the creator of Talk to the Entities. That's a whole $1 million business, I know for sure, for her. And that started around 2011, I think, is when she taught her first entities class, if I recall
Wow.
correctly. But anyway, so you took that class, which
Yes.
blew your mind.
Yeah, I took that class, which is, I was like, what? And that was when I explored my capacity to really to facilitate people. Somehow I knew through that class that I can facilitate people since I learned to facilitate entities. And after that, I hosted the same facilitators I took those classes with. I hosted them and we did like a whole month of classes. I created like crazy program, like a whole month of classes. Can you imagine? In Algeria,
I do it. I do.
where there were no classes. And after that, I actually took a step back from Access. I explored something else. I went to Egypt. I worked in a call center for an online company, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so I spent like 6 months without really doing any classes, without facilitating, I was a bars facilitator then. And in 2020, when I came back to Algeria, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna jump into this, because you know when you tap into, you indulge, or what is the word? You
Indulgence.
sink in.
You think of something,
the choice.
And you just really leap into the idea of it and see how it makes you feel, you know.
Well, I didn't leap into the idea. I spent fucking 9 months without facilitating or attending classes. And then after that, I was like, I wonder how much fun it can add to my life. And then COVID hit. So I was like, okay, I'm sitting at home. I can't travel.
All right.
Let's have fun. And I really love staying at home. It wasn't a drama for me. So I started looking at, okay, what classes can be fun? And I took like 11 foundations, and like these foundations, a few I translated. So when I was translating, I also developed the capacity to facilitate through those tools. And I was like, you know what? I actually like to facilitate this class. And during those foundations, one of them, I was like asking a question, and I was like, you know what? I want to be a CF, but it's too much, and blah, blah, blah. And the facilitator was like, what if you just asked? What if it's not too much? And what if you just put it on a paper and look at, okay, how much do you require to create, to create that? And I created the fucking money. How crazy is that? Again.
Yeah, because you're not a creator of magnitude. There's no potency in you. It really is just a choice, y'all, when you actually, but you've got to know what it is you're asking for. I mean, I love that. It's like when I'm teaching the money classes, I'm like, write down all your expenses so that you know what it is, because everybody always wants to hide it. They don't want to know how much they actually owe. The bills come and they just make just enough to cover the bills. But what if you knew what it would take to create your life monthly? And that's, even if you want to become a CF or or you buy a new car or whatever it is, you know, you put in also the insurance and all the stuff. And then you put in, you tithe 10% to yourself, and then you add another 10% for fun. And you know you're going to want to go out. So you add all those things together, and then you take a look at it and go, okay, universe, what's it going to take for me to create and generate this for my life and my living? And of course you created it because you were willing to look at it
Yeah.
and choose.
And you're
Now
like,
you're, yeah,
there's a lot of energy in the world. So why the heck would you use it?
right.
You just put it on the paper and then you ask, and then it just goes into your paper and it creates more money paper.
That's true. Well, you be the energy of it. That's the thing. I feel like I'm clanking people over the head when I'm teaching these money classes, that they always put the money outside of themselves. What if you could, money's just an energy. What if you could be that energy that attracts more? You know, be that energy,
Yeah.
be money, be walking, talking money. I even have a song I wrote about that. It's called Rolling in the Green. And people thought I was talking about doobie. I'm like, no, I'm talking about getting naked and rolling around in your money, rolling in the green. I'll have to send it to you. It's on my
Please do.
rerocks.com website, songs that I've written and sung and co-produced. But anyway, one of them's called Rolling in the Green. And it's just,
love
you know,
that.
if you want
I'm
somebody to
gonna
really
listen to
judge
that.
you, then listen to that song. Because people really judged me for that song. I'm talking about, you know, Rolexes and Gucci shoes and the whole thing. And I don't have a Rolex and I don't have Gucci shoes, but I, you know, because that's not what I choose. But I am choosing a Bentley. I'm thinking that in 2022, before it's over, I'm going to have a Bentley. It's a really nice car. I like nice cars.
There you go. You put it out there and the universe contributes.
And I like fur coats.
Oh, I love that.
So I have a few of
really
those.
love it. Yeah.
But
I really love
okay.
it.
So now you're a CF, and I've
Yeah.
got to wrap this up. I just got to know, what do you do to get your happy on? It is the Get Happy podcast, so we got to know.
Yeah. What do I do to get my happy on? I listen to classes or attend classes. Like if I have a recording, I'll put it on. If I'm cranky, I'll just go to my phone or to my computer. Okay, what is required now? What would contribute to me? Because I know personally that my natural state is happy. So it's not something that I fake be or something that is outside of me. So if I'm not being it, that means that there is something in my world that is not true. So that is heavy, that is that I can kind of swipe off. So I just go into these recordings that I have, and this is so amazing with Access Consciousness tools. When you attend classes, you get the recordings and you can re-listen to them, and it's as if you weren't there. You'll be like, what? She said that? So you
I
can
feel like you're
listen to
talking about
recordings.
me, because every morning I listen to somebody, whether it's Simone or Brendan or Gary or Shannon or Dr. Dane, because it's the weirdest thing. I'm taking a class right now from Brendan Watt, and I was saying to him, I commune with the earth and I feel so connected into the trees, and I have a pet squirrel, Baxter, that I talk to. I mean, he literally comes over here and I do some energy with him, and my cat and all the things. I said, and then I go out in the world and it's like, I don't feel like I fit in because I'm speaking the language of energy. So I'm most happy when I'm taking classes or facilitating classes. And I remember having this conversation with Gary, and he said, well, what if you could just walk through your whole world as if you're either being facilitated or you're facilitating? So how do I do that? I listen to all those recordings like you. I do it every morning. I find something. Some of them I've listened to several times. And you're right, it just gets me to that state of me, which is happy.
Exactly.
I love
And
it.
lately I have been doing one thing. Dr. Dane here, for all of you who don't know, has an app called You Got This, and he has like audios that you can get. And one of the audios is called oh my God, it has something with wings. It has to do with wings.
Oh, it's about finding
Waking
your
up.
wings. It says you'll never know.
I think it's waking up with wings or something.
I know, and I heard one of the facilitators, and I don't know which
Find
one it was. It says you're never gonna discover your wings if you don't leap.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, I replaced my alarm with that.
Ah, I
So
love
I
it.
wake up today. Yeah, it's called waking up with wings. So I wake up to Dane clearing all the projection expectations and all of that from
Wow.
of your day and speak into your ear. And sometimes I wake up instantaneously, very rarely. And sometimes I have to listen to it 3 times, 4 times. But like, I just snooze. What snooze? Now I like snoozing it because I get to re-listen to it.
Yeah. Don't judge you for snoozing.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's a contribution. But I'm bummed.
exactly. And yeah, I just have fun with that. And then also what gets me happy is to be in communion with my body. And I touch my body and ask, okay, what do you require today?
Right.
What is it that I can contribute to you today? And your body is magical if you contribute to it. It's already contributing to you. So if you contribute to it, you'll be able to receive from it. So
I love
yeah.
it. I love it. So that's your homework, everybody. Commune with your body so that you can receive it. I love it. So we'll end on that note. Where can our listeners find you?
So they can find me at my website, imenebenzamouche.com. So that's so far in Arabic, but I'll get it in English as well. And they can also find me with the same name on Facebook, on YouTube. On YouTube, it's Dr. Imene Benzamouche.
Course, doctor.
And you can get me in pretty much all the platforms. On Instagram, it's Dr. Imene Benzamouche. All how do you call it? Like
No spaces, all together.
no space. Yes.
So we'll have all that information below for you guys so you can find her with ease. Okay, enjoy. And yeah, and if you like this conversation, please share it. Maybe check out the subscribe button. And if there's something that you want for us to talk about on these podcasts, I actually read all the comments. So please, let us know. And thank you so much for being my guest. This has been too much fun.
My pleasure, really.
And I can't wait for the book to be available, Choosing Happiness in Arabic and maybe French.
Wow, that's
What a
great.
take. All right, you
Oh,
guys.
that's great. I wonder. Thank you so much, Rodrani. It was really a pleasure to be
Thank
on this
you.
with you. And let's be this joy in the world because only you can be you. So
True
why
story,
the heck
y'all.
wouldn't you be?
True story, y'all. What if you being you is actually what was required in this world? I don't know. All right. Thank you so much again. And until
Thank
next time,
you.
you guys. Ciao, ciao for now.